All right, everyone, we are back. As I mentioned, this is the last two runs of the night, both featuring our very own Ozmourn. First one is going to be Manifold Garden Reverse Tree Order, which is a fascinating category name. I love fascinating category names. I'm really excited to see this one. Before we kick this off, I just want to let you know, we are over $500 raised in the first 2 days of the event, which translates to more than $50,000 in medical debt eliminated. That is so fantastic. I am so excited about that. For benchmark purposes, our previous two events have both raised just over $1,000. So because we have 2 days left, we are on pace to match that. I would love to eclipse our previous high water mark. So if you have any donations you are able to provide, that would be wonderful. If you know anyone who thinks that this might be a worthwhile cause, you might share this stream with them so they can come in and donate and enjoy all the speedruns too. And without any further ado, Ozmourn, take it away.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Octini, and hello everybody. My name is Ozmourn, and I'm so glad to be closing out the second day of this marathon with two amazing speedruns. First up being Manifold Garden Reverse Tree Order, and it is an interesting category, as the name implies. But essentially what Reverse Tree Order is there are these things known as God Cubes in the game, and you plant them into little pedestals to create trees out of them. The game has a set path that you're supposed to take in a set way. You're supposed to collect each and every one of these God cubes and plant them into their respective trees. However, due to very specific glitches that we've discovered in the game, we've actually allowed ourselves to essentially go to the very last puzzle of the game and collect all of the trees within all of the trees in reverse order. Which is a very interesting category that is only possible with specific glitches that we found. And before I get into the run, I actually want to go into a new save file and explain two things real quick. First and foremost, the first thing that I did before we went to the run was I entered in a command known as bind f screenshot normal. I did that. You can already see that I did that, but I'm going to enter it again. Essentially, it allows me to bind the screenshot button to the F key right next to like the movement controls, and that is very important for a specific glitch that I'm going to be coming up with later. That I'm going to be mentioning as the run continues. And the other important thing that I want to mention is like something that I want to point out so that the game makes a little bit more sense as to what you're seeing. First and foremost, I just changed a specific setting known as the gravity change. And right now, we have a setting known as S-curve on right now. This, if you've ever played this game casually, this is how you probably played it, with you right-click on any wall and you can change gravity at will. That is what the animation of the S-curve looks like. However, there is a setting in which you can turn that off and turn it to instant. And once you go back, it, as it implies, instantly teleports you to the wall you're changing gravity to. And so that essentially skips the S-curve animation every single time that you want to change gravity, and it adds up tremendously throughout the run and just immediately lets you go straight into the action. And I wanted to explain that before the run because it makes what you're looking at make a little bit more sense, because without any context, it just looks like you're looking at a bunch of really, really quick jump cuts. And so that's what I wanted to explain before the run began. We're going to quit to main menu again, and then we're going to once again start from a fresh file in order to start the run. So timing will begin once I press overwrite here. You may start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so Manifold Garden Reverse Tree Order. Some basic mechanics about this game is that there are 6 planes of gravity, and each of gravity is has a specific color attached to it. And these cubes that we're collecting up right now can only work on the specific plane of gravity that they're on. Right now, what we're doing a glitch known as a wall clip. There's 2 parts of this wall clip. One where you clip yourself through the wall, and one where you clip the cube through the wall. Clipping yourself through the wall is pretty easy. You just take a cube and you push it up against yourself, and you let it go as you hold back, and so it pushes you into the wall. And the second part of this trick, ooh, I almost got it. Wait, never mind. The second part of this trick is when you clip the cube through the wall, and that one is a bit more finicky. The way that you do that is essentially you interact with the object at the same time you take a screenshot and you move it through the wall, and that allows the game to like actively cause lag and clip the cube through the wall. You're going to see it pretty quickly here. This is the tower. It is the introduction to the idea that everything in this game is infinite in every direction, so you can keep endlessly falling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go to a very specific corner of this map because this is a secret area, and we're going to clip through here using the wall clip method, as I said. So you, as I mentioned before, you push yourself through with the cube and then screenshot and interact with the cube at the same time to clip the cube through. And right now we are going through a specific section that essentially is the end of the game. We're going through a secret area that connects the beginning of the game to the end of the game, and you're really not supposed to like access this area until you've unlocked a bunch of different mechanics, and you've unlocked like a bunch, you already know, like a bunch of different other stuff. To get through this way organically is very hard, but we have been able to do this through wall clipping, and this is like what you're looking at right now is literally the final puzzle of the game before you finish it. We immediately go straight to the end, and we're going to be collecting these cubes, and immediately we're also introduced to another basic mechanic that you're really introduced to like halfway through the game casually, and that is planting the cubes into a stream of water, and that causes it to plant a tree and have more cubes spawn out of it, kind of like seeds. And these cubes, as you can see, you can use them to redirect the path of water, and that is the only time that we're going to be using this mechanic in the entire run. We're going to save and load here because I just activated, by changing the direction of the water, I activated a water wheel, and the water wheel is supposed to turn on a laser that makes the dark cube open up, but that's a huge long animation, and we speed up the animation by just saving and loading. Ooh, the fact that that happened means that I didn't line that up correctly for the water wheel, so I'm going to move this a little bit more to the right, and so this time it should work. Again, we have to like wait for the entire animation, so we're going to save and load again. That is a mistake that I haven't done in a while, but you know, it's inevitable to happen eventually. That's what we're supposed to see. The cage around the dark cube is gone, and we can just pick it up. When you're in this state, when you pick up the dark cube, you cannot change gravity, and if you let go of the dark cube, there's a timer that starts and the screen fades to white, that if you let go of it for too long, it'll respawn you where the dark cube was originally picked up. By planting the dark cube into the tree, we activate a specific animation that is actually broken right now for some reason. It's supposed to be like a little pretty image of like a kaleidoscope-like image, but as you can see, it's off screen. You can see part of it. This occasionally happens, and I do not know why, and it kind of concerns me a little bit, only because I've been hoping that it doesn't affect like other stuff in the game, because sometimes if something like this happens, it can affect saving and loading, which we're gonna have to do a lot, but we'll just have to see if it does. If it doesn't, I'll just have to like restart the game, like restart, like just open and close the game. We don't have to like redo saves or anything like that, thankfully. And right here we're going to go up, and this is actually a pretty good time for like upluck, because usually this is saved till the end of the run when you run the game normally, but this is a really long staircase that I can't speed up. So Octini, if you want to say something real quick, you can. So right through here, we can just finish walking up these stairs, and we're going to be planting the cube right through here. And that is the first tree that we planted. We could go finish the game right now, theoretically, but we can't do that because, unfortunately, we have things to do, and we have trees to go plant. That is the rainbow god cube that we just planted. The specific order of the colors that we have are like red, or blue, red, green, yellow, purple, orange, and then rainbow. That is the intended order you're supposed to get, and so we're going to get that backwards. And so we're going to start with rainbow and end with blue. We're going to wall clip through with this cube right here. The thing about wall clips is that sometimes it can just be generally inconsistent. Sometimes you get it first try, other times you get it like 20th try. Thankfully, you can just retry them like pretty quickly, and so even if you have to retry them a few times, it doesn't lose that much time. And we're going to be clipping through here and going back to the beginning section of the game. We're going to leave that cube there, but I want you to remember the cube because it is a surprise tool that is going to help us later. And right back here from where we found this cube right here, where we planted this cube, we're actually going to use it to clip into the tower this time. Excuse me. And we're going to go into a secret area that even casually you probably didn't discover. But it is here at the beginning of the game, and it allows you to go through a secret end, believe it or not. However, we're not going to do that. We're just going to use this this particular section to, once again, do another wall clip, and we're going to go get the orange God Cube and plant that into the orange tree. There we go. Ooh, that was a fast wall clip, thank goodness. As you can see, again, wall clips just generally being inconsistent in the sense that they either take one try or several tries, but usually you should be able to get them within a few seconds. Perfect. And of course, a theme that you're going to be seeing here a lot, and that I've already exemplified many times, is that falling is faster than walking. Due to the fact that you can change gravity just at will whenever you feel like it. You would prefer to walk to where you need to go, and only walk when strictly necessary. We're going to clip through this window pane with this cube, and we're going to leave it there because we don't need it anymore. Casually speaking, this is a part of the game that you're supposed to get to like really late unless you somehow know the secret way and you know how to get here like earlier. But typically speaking, casual players don't know how to do that until they've explored the game a lot. Instead of solving any puzzle in this tower, we're just going to clip out of it. There we go. And we're going to plant this guy right here. Perfect. And we're going to collect the orange dark cube. Once again, you can't change gravity when you're in the dark cube phase, and you can't let go of it for too long. However, since the dark cube is in fact a cube, we are going to be wall clipping with it. Oh, speak of the devil. My goodness. Am I able to grab that in time before the game tells me that I can't? Oh, it's right here. There we go. Perfect. You see, that's a perfect example of what that means. There we go. And we're going to wall clip through there. So, at the very least, I was able to show that mechanic off. An unfortunate mistake, but the mistake had a silver lining in that I was able to show that off. And so this is another... Is it not showing? Oh, it is showing. So, like, yeah, this is the animation that it was supposed to play when we collected the rainbow God cube and planted the dark cube into like the rainbow tree. Except it was a different color. It was all rainbow and stuff. It's a very pretty one that unfortunately we weren't able to see because I like saved and loaded twice. And again, hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. And so right now we are going to go plant the orange dark cube into the receptacle. Or orange God cube into the receptacle. And once again, after doing this, instead of going forward and doing the normal progression of the game, we're going to be falling backwards and going to go find the purple cube now. And right off the bat, we're also going to be introduced to a few more glitches and mechanics that we haven't been introduced to yet. Excuse me. You want to change gravity? What is going on here? Change gravity on these stairs. Thank you. That's what you wanted. All right. Change gravity on this door frame really quick, twice. And then we're going to be going through here. This is the intended area that you're supposed to go to after solving this room's puzzle instead of wall clipping to where we went to it previously. But we're going to go into like a mini hub area in which we can easily access the purple cube room. And right here, we're going to be doing something called a save warp. Essentially, we're going to be saving on one side of a portal and then loading on the other side of a portal. What that does is that it saves your position both on this side of the portal and on the other side of the portal, but like in the next room. And by saving behind the portal and then loading in front of it, you can just warp through the portal. It's like you end up being loaded on the other side of it into the next room, which is a very interesting mechanic and something that I absolutely love and is so important in the speedrun. Because theoretically, you can just save and load in like every room that you see, and you never have to solve a single puzzle in the game. which is hilarious. We're going to take this cube, and we were introduced to the concept of gravity changers. Gravity changers is exactly how it sounds. It changes to the gravity of a cube, so we turn a yellow cube into a red cube. And we're going to use this red cube to clip through here and grab a purple cube. And right here, we're already in the section where we're going to grab the purple god cube, and we're going to grab the but we're not going to grab the purple dark cube. Instead, oh, this is actually already appearing. The dark cube is actually the god cube is actually in this tree. As you can see, the hitbox of the god cube is like appearing out of the tree. Usually you'd have to save and load for it to appear, but sometimes it appears without you needing to do that. And so essentially what I'm doing right now is called a tree clip. It's a very like harder version of a wall clip, and you want a very specific thing to happen. When you're clipping through the tree, you want to clip in like that. There's a lot of different things that can happen when you attempt to do this, but this is the specific outcome that you want to see happen. And it's actually very finicky because you want to like be as far right as possible without clipping out, which is just a hard thing to do because you want to be positioned very specifically so you can like just take the god cube out of the tree like that. And then we're going to be doing another save warp by saving on this side of the portal and loading, so that we can be on the other side of that door. And on the other side of that door, we're going to be bringing the purple god cube to the receptacle that it originally. And so right here, we can just clip by taking a screenshot and interacting with the cube at the same time. We can just clip the cube through the portal, or through the door, without it being open, and we can just plant it through the tree, and boom, that is the purple. That is the purple god cube in the purple tree, and we are collecting it that time without having to go through the long cutscene. And the reason that we didn't do it for like the god cube, for the rainbow god cube or the orange god cube, is that it's generally very inconsistent, and we've really only found it to be consistent in specific areas. And believe it or not, it actually depends on the route that you're doing and the run that you're choosing to do. It's different in all god cubes, and so that's just the tree clipping as a whole is just wildly inconsistent in this game. But thankfully we've found general ways to make it consistent, and if it ever becomes inconsistent, I will be happily explaining how I'm mitigating the situation when it happens. Now that we finish the purple cube room, we're actually going to go straight to the yellow cube room, where we're going to find the yellow god cube, and that one we're going to get without like tree clipping, the quote intended way of getting it, by getting the dark cube and then activating the whole cutscene. This next room, we're actually that's another save warp that we just did, and we could theoretically also save warp out of this room, but we're actually going to be doing this puzzle, gasp, as intended, because we want the door to at the end of this puzzle to be open, for a very specific reason. This is the only thing, like the only real puzzle that we solved the intended way in the speedrun. And we're going to be taking this cube and falling down here. We want this door to be open for a very specific reason that we're going to be coming back to a lot later. We're going to be introduced to another mechanic called the dual gravity cubes. Cubes that have planes of gravity that go in opposite directions, so the green and yellow ones in this case. As long as you're on the yellow plane or the green plane, it'll fall in either direction. And I was able to grab that cube out of midair and have it fall through here. So we want to bring it towards us. And we're going to have it fall here. And we want to actually clip, do a wall clip, but in a very specific spot, because we want the cube to have a very specific, be in a very specific location when we're done. If we can't make it happen, that should work for what we need to have happen later. And if it doesn't, for whatever reason, like there's an easy backup for it, but just it saves, like making sure that the cube is in the right spot now saves time later. And so that's a very helpful thing. We're going to take this blue cube that we got from the tree earlier, and we're going to wall clip through here, through the floor, and we're actually going to be grabbing this yellow cube. And we're going to be wall clipping through these stairs once more, like so. That wall clip is dedicated to Amerlin. Amerlin, I love you. And oop, come on. Now we're going to take this red cube, and we're going to place it into the receptacle that will activate the laser that will unlock the yellow dark cube. And thankfully, this is kind of like on a timer, so you don't have to like rush your way through this. You don't like it doesn't save any time to like save and load to make this animation go faster because you're already down here by the time it's like finished. But we already are having the yellow dark cube, and as we did with the orange dark cube, we're actually going to be wall clipping with it. There we go, perfect. That was really fast, thankfully. And now we have to go through another beautiful animation. Octini, I don't know if you want to say anything while we admire this beautiful piece of art that we're seeing on our screens right now.
Heck yeah. I just want to remind folks once more that we are raising money for RIP medical debt. I went over the spiel just a few minutes ago. I won't do the whole thing again, but I would like to point out we have a lot of incentives and polls still to come in the last couple of days. So if you want to put a donation in, please look over those, see what has yet to be met, see if there are any polls that you want to snipe, anything like that coming up. And thanks for hanging out all day with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Octini. And now we are going to plant the yellow god cube into its receptacle and make the yellow tree. We're about halfway through the run. And so we're going to be doing this, and once again, falling backwards instead of going forwards, because we have more things to do. This time, we're going to go back to the beginning of this section with some very clever gravity changes. And this particular gravity change allows us to go straight back to the beginning room of this section by just opening this door, changing gravity on this door frame twice, and then falling down here. Perfect. That's what we wanted that cube for. When we clipped, this is the cube that we clipped in, like we did a wall clip with earlier, and I said you wanted to wall clip with the cube in a very specific location. What? Okay, interesting. I've never seen that happen before. And so that it can just fall down. You don't have to like go back up and get it. Ooh, that was really close. And so now we're going to be going into, I think, like another secret-ish area. I'm not falling to the tree. Instead, I'm actually walking towards it because there's like an invisible wall that divides that portal between areas. And so that you just can't go through it, unfortunately. This wall clip is being finicky. There we go. And now we're going into an area that is supposed to be towards like the beginning of the game, as makes sense because, you know, we're playing the game backwards essentially. And what we're going to be seeing here is very similar to movement that you usually see in the All God Cube speedrun, because we're going to the green, red, and blue areas right now to collect their respective God Cubes. And since they all have pretty much the same strats as all God Cubes, except of course are done with some variations due to the fact that we're playing the game backwards. And we're just going to be falling through here, picking this up to deactivate these walls, and having to go through here. There is a specific sensor at the center of this room, but we want to actually line it up, line this cube up with it so that when we get rid of this bridge, it just lines up perfectly. I can barely see it. There we go. Perfect. That should work. Have the sensor activate and then fall through the door that it opens. And we're going to save warp through here so that we can enter the green area, the green cube area that we're going to collect the green God cube in. Since, like, again, all of these spaces are isolated from each other, the strats don't differ that much between runs, with particular exceptions. And so, that was a big save there, and arguably probably faster than like the intended, the route that we've already established. But I meant to change gravity earlier than that, but I accidentally did a save and probably saved time. We're going to be wall clipping to get this green cube, and then wall clipping out of the same building with the green cube, but just in a different plane of gravity this time. Ooh, you do not want to participate with me today. There we go. Perfect. Is the green cube already here by chance? It is? Question mark? That's surprising. It's almost never here. You usually have to save and load for this to appear, for the God cube to appear, but it just appears sometimes. chalk it up to the quote pseudo RNG of this game. Theoretically, there shouldn't be any RNG in this game, but sometimes the game just likes to be inconsistent and give us stuff early. And I'm not complaining. Thankfully, that saves us a lot of time, and we can just immediately just clip the God Cube through here and plant it in the tree without needing to worry about saving and loading. Generally speaking, the God Cubes have been pretty consistent so far, but I don't want to speak too soon. I'm going to hold my breath because we still have 2 more to go. So we planted the green cube, and only 2 more left, the red and blue cubes. And we're going to fall back to where we entered this area, and because past this door, we're going to save warp in order to get there again, is the main hub that we entered through. And through there, we're going to be collecting the red cube, and we're going to go to the red cube area, and then from the red cube area, we're going to have a very interesting route to get to the blue cube area. But first, we have to get there. And now we're going to be changing gravity on here, falling this way, and solving this puzzle that has dual gravity cubes in a very interesting manner. First and foremost, we're going to grab this purple and orange dual gravity cube, fall with it, and we're going to line this one up with the sensor on the wall, but then just change gravity so that it stays in midair, because they won't fall if you're not on the same plane of gravity as them. We want to put this guy right here. I almost did it in reverse, did this backwards. We're going to change gravity so that that red cube blocks the purple and orange cube from falling, and as soon as the other cube hits the sensor that we lined it up with, we can just grab this cube and bring it towards us. Oh, how fun. Thank you. We want to bring this red cube with us because we want to actually clip through this wall. Come on. There we go. And we're going to bring it with us again because we want to clip through another wall at the end of this section. We skipped like 90% of the puzzling in this game. There's so much puzzling that we just don't need to do. Even the puzzles that we are breaking, we skip entirely a lot of the times. And there's a bunch of puzzles that I'm just walking past because I don't need to solve them. I don't even need to look at them. Right here in this specific section, you're actually going to hear for the ball to it's going through like a tube, and every time that hits the side of the tube, you can like change gravity in order to immediately have it fall down to the next fall down again into the next part of the tube. And that marble thankfully only happens once, and in like the optimal routes for all God cubes, especially with the no wall clip versions. Ooh, I love that. Especially with the no wall clip versions, there's actually a lot more of like the marble moving that you have to do, and sometimes you have to do it without looking at the marble at all. So you have to listen for when the marble hits the end of the tube, which can be annoying sometimes. Okay, this one was not generous to us in the sense that it did not immediately appear the God cube, so we do have to save and load for the God cube to appear this time. And there you go, it's at the bottom, as you can see right here. However, the game also has to be nice to us in the sense that it'll allow us to actually clip into the tree. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen with us today. Yeah. Okay, so every time that you like try and clip into the tree, if you don't get it within the first few tries, you can actually save and load again. And something about that messes with your hitbox, and it actually allows you to it somehow makes it a little bit easier sometimes, or a little bit harder depending on how the game feels, to clip into the wall. You essentially just keep saving and loading until you clip into it, until like the game allows you to like clip into it. Or sometimes it does what happened right there, in which when you save and load, when you respawn after the save load, you are already clipped into the tree even though you didn't clip in yourself, which is an interesting thing. So again, saving and warping and then clipping the cube through this portal in order to land it, in order to like plant it into its receptacle and plant the tree. But instead of going backwards this time, we are actually going to move forward, but move forward to the orange tree that we planted earlier with the orange God cube, and we're going to go back to the section with the orange God cube right here, because we actually want to go back to the beginning of the game. Because we have one more God cube to plant, and that is the blue God cube. But there's a secret shortcut that we can use to go immediately back to the beginning of the game, because there's a bajillion secret shortcuts in this game, and one of them is right here. And maybe you recognize this area again, but remember this guy? This blue cube? I told you he was going to come in handy later. we're going to clip through here again. But this time we're going to take him with us. And this is the tower from the beginning of the game that we saw. We're actually going to land right over there and open this door by turning on that button right here. Perfect. And now right beneath here is the tree with the blue god cube. And is it with us? No, it's not. I don't think it would be, because you'd have to like save and load from like pretty within a specific range, and we were at no point we were ever close for it to be like for it to make sense to have spawned. We're going to clip in through it on this side. Is it going to be generous to us today? Doesn't seem like it. Saving and loading. Typical. Let's see how many save loads it takes. Hopefully just one. Oop. Two. Okay. Again, these are just finicky, inconsistent sometimes. And saving and loading is pretty much the foolproof way that we've managed to make it relatively consistent. There we go. So just 2 save loads. It's actually not that bad, all things considered. And you just, there we go, perfect. You want to just like the grabbable hitboxes for all these god keys when you clip into the tree. It's very, very small, like pixels sometimes, and so you want to like just move your cursor around until you see your crosshair like glow up with that hexagon, and it'll show you when you can pick up the god cube. It's very finicky, very precise, and it takes a bit of practice. But right here, boom, we've saved warp and brought the blue cube through. Oh my god, what is going on here? Whoa, excuse me. What is going on here? Where is the blue? Okay, there it is. I had no idea what I just did there, to be honest. That is a weird thing. That is a weird mistake that I almost have never made. But you know what? It's perfectly fine. We move on. We pretend that it didn't happen. Which is also kind of awkward because we're like at the end of the run. So we've planted the blue god cube, which in this speedrun is the last god cube that we need to collect and the last tree that we're going to be planting. This right here is a fast travel area. It has monuments of all the different areas where you planted each and every single god cube, and since we got the rainbow one first, we're able to immediately fast travel to where we planted the rainbow god cube and finish the game. We're gonna fall through here again. This is another one where like the portal, there's like a portal that has an invisible wall that separates areas. It's annoying that you can't just fall through here without that bothering you, but unfortunate that we have to deal with that. And now we're going to fall through here, through this waterfall, and there's one more trick at the very end of this run, and I'm gonna be doing it like right here. There we go, perfect. And essentially what I just did is I changed gravity at very specific parts and walked over a trigger that would prevent me from changing gravity. So instead of having to walk down that giant bridge and walkway, I can fall down it. Because again, falling is faster than walking. That's the whole run. That is Manifold Garden, reverse tree order. We just have to wait for this fall to end, and that's when timing is going to stop. But thank you to the folks at Meteor Speedruns for having me and for putting on this event. It's a lot of fun, and y'all are fighting for good causes, and y'all are just a really fun community. And I hope, despite the small mistakes, that I put on a pretty good show with Manifold Garden. And timing is going to end in 3, 2, 1. Time. Yeah, there. With this kaleidoscope appearing, that is time. So I'm just glad to have shown this run off, because it's like something that I've been pretty passionate about, something that I've been like trying to grind out for world record. I currently hold the world record of 26 minutes and 17 seconds RTA, which is something that I'm really proud of, because me and Nerd Squared, the other person who's been fighting for a world record against, we've like been really grinding this category down, and hopefully we get a sub 26 in the near future, because it's incredibly possible. Just we need the game to be nice to us sometimes. But yeah, if you're interested in downloading this game, buying this game, if you're interested in like abstract or puzzle games or just anything like that, super duper recommend it. And aside from that, if you're interested in speedrunning it, I am more than happy to show you this category because, in my opinion, it's like the objectively most interesting category of this game. You get everything minus a few achievements, and you play the whole game backwards, which is that in itself is a really huge feat in speedrunning. But yeah, that is the end of Manifold Garden Reverse Tree Order. I have one more run left. Stay tuned for the end of the marathon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ozmourn. We're going to toss it into intermission so that Oz can swap his game around, but we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with our last run of the night, which is going to be Superliminal, which, did you do this at GDQ?
I did, yes.
Yeah, Superliminal is such a good game. All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Thank you.